Hi, I'm Avery or Hazel or Kylie. Just pick one, I don't care.
Hello, I am Lily.
And I think your real gift is being in denial.
Single-handedly one
Today,
more of the best. Great line.
yeah, today we're covering Encanto. Um, but before we get into it, we have, in case you haven't heard, we have moved our movie wheel spinning to the beginning of the episode. So I am going to spin the wheel right now, and it landed on Spider Man. So
Okay then, that
the
did not see that one coming.
The next movie we're recording will be Spider-Man. That is the 2002 Tobey Maguire one. Um, for anyone who's wondering. Uh, but yeah, um, as usual, this episode will contain spoilers for Encanto. If you are listening to this on YouTube, you will find a link below to purchase or rent the movie yourself. And it's also available on Disney Plus. And on top of that, there are two cinema therapy videos on this video. Wait, what? There are two cinema therapy videos on this movie. Yeah, that
Yeah.
is it. Go and watch those. And
Um.
with all the non-spoilery stuff out of the way, let's get into it.
Cool. So I actually wanted to start this, and there is actually an element that I know you would love about watching this movie, and I don't know.
What's that?
So you obviously watched this on Disney Plus, right?
Mm-hmm.
Did you have subtitles turned on?
I did. And it only subtitled the songs. Like it only translated the songs. Any of the dialogue that was in Spanish, it didn't translate
There was
it.
actually one word. It was right when I forget what it was. Yeah, no, it was right when the father like put all of the prophecy in his pocket, and the sis no cousin was just like Dolores. Like I heard everything. He says a word in Spanish that they didn't translate because it would have made no sense. The word he said was supposed to sound like a swear word in Spanish. So if it was just straight translation, no one would have gotten that.
Ah, okay. I've seen puns get translated before, um, and I forget how exactly the creator did it, but like they were telling puns in French, but I think they were showing both French and English subtitles and pairing them together so that you could actually, understand the pun.
That makes sense. It's like if someone said funk in our language, like
Yeah. I like it obviously what I just described wouldn't
yeah,
work for this, but yeah. I got to say like regarding this movie's release, I was actually planning to go see it in theaters, when it came out,
this was the last
but
movie I was able to see in theaters before the pandemic hit.
this movie came out last
Or wait,
year.
I'm an idiot. That was Onward.
Yeah. I was like, what?
No, I saw this. Actually, shit, I actually forgot why I saw this.
Yeah, I was planning to go see this in theaters, but that didn't happen because Ghostbusters Afterlife.
No, it took me. So I wanted to see, just a random example. I wanted to see Free Guy. I think it took me maybe like a year to actually do it on streaming platform. Yeah, no, what the hell made me watch Encanto so early? Which
Yeah, see,
Kanto
the weird
means
thing,
enchantment, if you didn't know.
yeah, that was pretty obvious with the amount of times Encanto was in a song and
Well,
the
yeah,
subtitles said enchantment. But yeah, I saw nobody talking about this movie while it was in theaters. Like literally no one was talking about it. And then it drops on Disney Plus like a month later, and suddenly everyone's talking about it, but not about Bruno. And Lily is just crickets here.
Let's just let that terrible joke just stare
That
in
was better than
silence.
any joke you have ever told. Fuck off.
Oh, fight me.
I will.
It's not terrible because of what it says, it's just predictable.
But anyway, okay, so regarding this movie, it took me a while to watch it. I think largely I kept putting it off because I knew we would eventually cover it for the podcast, which is going to delay me watching a lot of movies going forward. I can just kind of feel it. It delayed me watching Infinity Train for a
I was
while.
really salty about that. I really wanted
Um,
Avery to watch Infinity Train.
yeah, and she also really wants me to watch Amphibia, and guess what I'm not going to do until we need to do it for the podcast?
I also really want to cover Amphibia on the podcast, so
Yeah, well, you already did put it on our TV wheel.
I still need to finish the second season. No, third season. Yeah, we're on the third season now.
And, and I'm still waiting on the rest of season 2 of The Owl House to drop on Disney Plus.
Yeah, my roadmap
We
on
can't.
TV shows of Disney is finish Amphibia, finish Owl House, cry.
Yeah, because both the shows got canceled and we just
Nope,
aren't
Amphibia
getting.
was never canceled. The creator actually wanted to have a 3-part series.
Regardless, both of the shows are ending.
That is thankfully
Pedantic
true.
bitch.
How you
Anyway,
passing along rumors?
Anyway, yeah, so both of those shows are ending. So Disney's really got nothing great to offer right now in terms of their TV
Yeah.
content.
I mean,
Like,
if you remember on the Gravity Fall ages, they were really dragging that out.
yeah, I mean, and then when Gravity Falls ended, we did have Star versus the Forces of Evil until they ruined it. And then it would just take until The Owl House for them to do anything good again.
And then Amphibia, I think Amphibia came first, but not that long after. Because Amphibia is in its third season, Owl House in its second.
Well, I mean, that doesn't necessarily tie together.
I have to look this up later.
Yeah, we'll probably look it up later. And then, like, I still haven't started the Miss Marvel series, which apparently is the highest rated Marvel
Really?
Phase 4. Yeah, it's apparently the highest rated Marvel Phase 4 show on, I think it was Rotten Tomatoes.
What phase is Loki?
4.
How dare it?
WandaVision, Falcon and the Winter Soldier, Loki, What If, and Moon Knight, and Hawkeye. And Miss Marvel. That's the new one. I always forget Hawkeye was a show, and it was actually pretty good, but yeah. Back to Encanto, though.
So, the TV Disney may be suffering downhill, but I think movie Disney is not suffering at all.
Hold on. This movie is great.
Okay,
And
you want to talk about something
I will
else.
not deny that. But
Hmm?
last year they did put out Raya and the Last
Oh,
Dragon.
oh, true, true.
Well, not last year. I think it was 2020.
Oh, and by the way,
Or
the
was it
last time that
2021? No, it was 2021.
when we did that, I think we can both say that we would update our views on that movie. I want to say, would you say
Huh.
drastically?
I wouldn't say too drastically, but like I have learned since doing that podcast how much a lot of Southeast Asians don't like how they were represented in the movie, and like that heavily would affect my
Mhm.
scoring of it.
And as I'll put it, like best foot forward here. That was not the same as Encanto. In fact, a lot of Colombians praised this movie.
Yeah, just like a lot of Mexicans praised Coco, and Asian Canadians praised Turning Red.
Hmm. I wonder if astronauts will be praising Lightyear.
No. You know why? Because they won't see it for 6 months.
You're right.
And also because a lot of the people just aren't going to go see the movie because they're cynical and they think it's just a shitty cash grab. So I have faith in Pixar because they've only ever made one movie that was truly terrible. So
Ours too.
yeah, it was Cars 2.
I can see the idea. It just wasn't executed well.
Yeah, like their second worst movie is actually only just okay. And it's The Good Dinosaur. But anyway, we will cover that movie eventually too, because eventually we are going to cover every Pixar movie,
So
including Cars 2,
I can
which
say,
I actually haven't
hmm,
seen.
I can ramble so much about this movie, but I would really like to hear your thoughts on it.
So, initially watching, I wasn't sure where this movie was going to go. I didn't really like the first song. Um, just because, and I may like it more on my second viewing because
Oh
my
yeah,
thoughts during the first song was like, this feels forced. It not like lazy writing force, more like this character feels like she's forcing it. And like now looking back on it, I think that was intentional. But
honestly, it took me up to you saying that to me realize, oh yeah, that makes complete sense. Like, those feelings that you never really address, but you just subtly feel that way, and when someone points out, it's like, oh yeah, that makes complete sense.
yeah,
Like, I just never thought about it.
that reminds me. Recently, Scott the Woz. This is randomly off topic, but Scott the Woz posted a video of like the Nintendo Switch 4 years in or 5 years in. I think it was 5 years in because I think the Switch came out in 2017, so it would be 5 years. But um, at some point in that video, I believe he was criticizing Pokemon, or maybe it was the Mario sports games. It was one of the two.
I mean,
But he finally put into
one of them is an easy target, and the other one's Pokemon.
so an easy target.
Somehow,
But either
Mario
way,
sports
he
games.
finally
Yikes.
he finally put into words what people always mean when they say, "Oh, they only care about money." Um, and like you get pedantic assholes who know exactly like what the person is talking about internally, but they'll be like, "Oh, they're a corporation. Money is always the goal." And like the way he phrased it was, they prioritize doing something half-assed for some money than doing something right for more.
I can definitely say a lot of
And I
Disney
think
movie. Well,
I would say a lot of Disney movies are doing that, especially most of the live action
definitely the
remakes.
live action remakes.
I will say this. I've said it before. We will probably cover Beauty and the Beast and Aladdin, but I'm going to add one more to the list because I've recently heard people praising it, and also I heard that it was the first one. So,
The Jungle
well,
Book.
the first one that kicked off these of all these going forward, Cinderella.
What?
Yeah,
Wait, hold. You have to give me some backstory first. That was a live action. Wait, and you said it kicked it off. Would that mean that come
they did a live action remake at
before?
some point. I don't remember when it
Did
was.
that come out before the Jungle Book? Because
Maybe.
I knew the Jungle Book as kicking that off, but I had no idea Cinderella came out as live action.
Yeah, I actually didn't hear about it until recently. So, it's somewhat of an interesting one.
So I actually want to talk about the move Kanto some more, if you have nothing else.
Yeah, go ahead.
So I want to bring back what you said about the first song, and I I actually bought the entire soundtrack on iTunes. I forgot the reason. I think it was probably because I wanted to download the song so I can like play it while I'm studying or something. Hmm.
Hmm.
The first
Okay,
song
so
is probably one of my least played ones, but oh, the second song, that's a
is that
good one.
the one sung by Louisa?
No, the second song was the one during the photo, where time stopped.
Oh, yeah, that was weird. That was a little weird that like time stopped there, and I was like, wait, is her gift manifesting? But I think it was all supposed to be like non-diegetic. So, um, which, if you don't know, that means it's not actually taking place. It's something specifically for the audience, but the characters who are like not involved don't see any of this happening. Sort of like the
Yeah,
Power Rangers transforming in their series. That's non-diegetic.
I actually learned a lot about diegetic and non-diegetic, but we'll talk about that later. Um,
Okay, so back to what I was saying earlier, the live action remakes. I just looked it up. The
okay,
Jungle
cool.
Book, the Jungle Book was 2016. Cinderella was 2015.
Fuck. Did I just sleep on this movie? Jesus. Which, what a
Probably.
great tie into the actual plot of Cinderella. Or was that sleeping?
Yeah.
Whatever.
The
I
question
think
is,
I can care less.
do we cover Cinderella 2 and 3? Because
Oh, you gotta
I'm
be
mostly
joking.
against I'm mostly against covering the direct to DVD or VHS sequels, but at the same time, Cinderella and is it Prince Charming? I think it's Prince Charming and Cinderella. Have like one of the most healthy relationships of a lot of the Disney romances.
Didn't they just like, oh my god, I love you. Marry me.
I
Oh, I have to go now. Bye.
I'm not saying that it starts great, but where they end up is fantastic. Um, and like a lot of Disney romances are really fucking weird. We will get to Snow White. Ugh. Um,
Oh, wait. So, Sleeping Beauty, right? Would you count Maleficent as sequel?
I don't know. I feel like it's a completely different movie altogether.
But like, you know how we do with sequels, we would put them right after on the wheel.
Yeah, like we would obviously cover Maleficent after Sleeping Beauty.
Okay.
Um, I guess like the way I would categorize Maleficent is like if you look at a lineup of Pokemon movies, Maleficent is Detective Pikachu.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't fit in with really any of the others.
It's basically an alternate timeline of Sleeping Beauty.
Yeah, kind of. But yeah, and then like as much as I love the back on the romances thing, as much as I love the romance between Eugene and Rapunzel, it doesn't start off the best. In fact, it starts off with blackmail, and it starts off with Eugene lying about who he is. Of course, he lies to everyone about who he is, and
Hell, he probably
the
lies to
nice
himself
thing
who he is.
Yeah, but the nice thing about that relationship is that he doesn't um how do I put this? He isn't confronted and forced to come clean about who he is. He does so because because she's being vulnerable with him, and that opens him up to be vulnerable with her, and he wants to get closer to her, so he opens up.
Honestly, that's just like the first scenario you described, like too cliche. Like it's just oh, I want to come out to you, but I feel like something's holding me back. Oh no, the main bad guy's gonna reveal all my secrets.
Yeah.
Way too
The funny
cliche.
thing is the main bad guy didn't even know.
Well, yeah, Tangle did it
In
good.
this
I'm done with that plot line.
Yeah, me too. And I'm glad they didn't go for that. But yeah, there's no romances. Well, okay.
Did we go 22 minutes and
There's
barely
no
talk about the
romantic
actual
plot.
movie?
I don't know, did
I
we?
think so.
Okay, so in this movie, there's not really any romantic plot lines. There's like a tiny little thing with like uh the girl who can hear everything wanting the guy who's in supposed to be getting engaged to the girl who can make flowers. I think her name was like Isabel, but I can't remember
Yeah,
the other girl's
yeah,
name.
Isabel and my God, I knew
Yep,
this.
Lily can't remember her name either.
No, I should know this
but
because I
there,
also said it previously in the episode.
but yeah, there's no romantic plot line in this movie, which I'm cool with because like the focus of the movie was like, this broken family, broken home, both figuratively and literally. Um, and just like trying to mend everything that has broken them apart. And obviously there are the fantastical elements. You've got magic involved and all
That
that
house was
stuff.
the coolest thing ever.
Indeed. um I also really love that Bruno was just like hiding inside the walls and shit. Like that was
So,
hilarious, and the girl who could hear everything knew he was there the entire time.
Therapy said its theories about why. It's on the tip of
I'm,
my goddamn tongue. What the hell is her name?
who cares? Like
No,
I'm
I
personally in the
do
camp
need
that's
to.
like, like I'm personally in the camp where it's like I believe that she just respected that he wanted to keep it secret.
1 second.
But yeah,
Disney
I also
Encanto.
yeah, it would be best not to think out loud as you're typing.
That's just what I do. Anyway, Dolores. Finally.
Okay, Umbridge.
So, they didn't actually bring up how Dolores has been talking about how she's been able to hear, you know, Rat Guy. I learned one name and forgot the other. Um,
Bruno,
Bruno.
the most well-known name in the most.
Anyway,
well-known name in the
so
entire movie.
but during
The
we
one we
don't
don't
talk
talk
about
about.
Bruno. I really only Dolores basically drops one huge hint that she could always hear him by only using present tense terms.
Mm-hmm.
Also, while we're talking about that, Camilo has a great singing voice. That's
Yeah,
about
I
it.
think a lot of these. I think pretty much all of these characters have great singing voices, and like the dance choreography
Hmm.
is fantastic.
So, did you actually know Camilo's voice actor? This is like his first time. He has done nothing like this. No previous voice acting experience, and definitely no like voice acting and singing.
That I didn't know that because I
Um,
didn't really do too much research into this movie.
Obviously, I had more time because I'd seen it, before. Yeah,
Yeah.
Camilo's voice actor is a actor. It's actor for like plays, and you can hear that in his singing where he over dramatizes his voice. Like he is speaking over the top with his
What was
accents.
your What was your favorite song in this movie?
It's actually a tie. Well, one stereotypical, I know, but we don't talk about Bruno. Really deserves being in one of those top song positions.
See, here's my thing about it. I think it's on par with at least half the songs in the movie.
Oh, definitely. Especially that last song. I actually don't remember the name, but I can only. Well, I
I
guess
have
I'm
a
opening up
weird favorite
iTunes.
one. Okay, so I have a weird favorite one, and it's the song sung by Louisa.
Ah, I don't give a I will not sign to iTunes.
And Lily's having technical difficulties. This is fun.
No, no, it's fine. It's fine. Yeah,
Yeah,
surface
it's not
pressure.
fine.
Anyway, all of you. All of you was a great song. And it definitely didn't make me cry as much as the final song in Coco, but
I didn't cry at all watching this movie.
I guess it's more like tear up. But that's literally all I ever do. Never really full on cry. So
I didn't even tear up during this movie. And it's weird because like I do relate to both Mirabelle and Bruno, and Isabella or Isabel, whichever it is,
Isabella.
and Louisa. I keep forgetting her name. Yeah, I kind of relate to all of them, like the amount of pressure that's being placed upon you, but then also at the same time being the black sheep of the family. In the cases of Bruno and
Mirabelle.
Mirabelle. I kept thinking Maribel, and like that's not correct. That's
Mirabelle.
Maribel is a character from Fire Emblem Awakening, and I knew I was going to mix those two up. I knew I was going to mix those two up. I just knew it was going to happen. But yeah, even though I relate to them, I just didn't really, find myself drawn to tears. And I feel like, I don't know, maybe it's, you know what, I don't know what it is. And I would honestly say that probably at least in my opinion, the most unrealistic thing about this movie, it isn't the magic. It's the fact that the grandmother basically apologizes.
I was honestly gonna bring that up. Especially from
Yeah,
that
and
Lewis City. It's basically that culture as well. That
yeah, and I do want to retroactively say that like the same thing for the mom in Turning Red. Like that's the most unrealistic part of that movie too. A lot of the times, like it can provide closure to the viewer watching it, um, to be like, hey, like that's something that I wish could happen for me, but it isn't going to. But it can be nice to at least see someone in your situation or in a very similar situation to you, um, receive that kind of closure and receive that apology.
um
And at the same time, it's helpful for people who are maybe in the grandparent situation, in terms of this movie, or the mother situation in terms of Turning Red. It can be helpful for them too, because they can see that and realize, oh, this is how I'm affecting my child or grandchild, and maybe this is what I need to
so I
do.
know you meant that in completely serious fashion, but I could swear actually seen that as a meme. And it's basically that normal people would probably be like, um, okay, normal's weird, but like people who don't have are not in like this ethnicity would probably be like, oh no, they forgave the grandma way too quickly. And people, I've seen a lot of Colombian viewers share the same feeling of, yeah, no, their grandma would never apologize. That, and even in Asian cultures as well, they'd probably feel the same. It's like Asian mom forgiving, and it's probably just get the slipper out.
And like cinema therapy, talked about this quite a bit, where they discussed that like a lot of these people are already like ready to forgive, but there are things holding them back, and that happens in a lot of families, not just Colombian families or
Hmm.
Asian families. And like significant life changing events, even though this ends up not being a significant life changing event because the magic comes back, and
But
so does the
everyone
house.
expect like no one knew that.
Yeah, nobody knew that the house was going to come back. Nobody knew that the magic was going to come back. So to them, in the moment, this is a significant life changing event, and their priorities have shifted, and all this stuff doesn't really seem to matter as much anymore as mending the family.
And I want to shift down to something stupid. Is that the last serious thing, or you want to say something else?
I don't really have anything else at this very
So
moment.
one of my favorite lines, Camilo says at the end of the movie, it's like, well, if we don't have a house, hey, I can't say we don't have a house. Look at that. What do you have? Not a house. Um, Apparently somebody on the Disney Wiki thought it was funny enough, and they put on Camilo's wiki page under fears, afraid of being homeless.
Wow. But yeah. So do you have anything else that you'd like to cover before we get into the other reviews of this movie that
Mhm.
we would typically talk about? So
I
you
don't
want to
know
get into
how
them
I
now? Okay.
would even talk about this movie. I mean, if even if you haven't seen this movie, I don't know what you're doing here. We already talked about the spoilers in the movie. I would still recommend watching it because this movie is just a treasure trove of amazingness.
Mm.
It's it's hard to vocalize that into anything else, but I would like other than the first song. You haven't brought this up, but what do you think about the other songs?
Um, this may sound a little bit odd, but I wasn't that much of a fan of the songs that were sung in Spanish.
Really?
Um, yeah, like, obviously it's fantastic that, these songs are that Disney is putting out mainline songs where the main language for them is Spanish. That is absolutely fantastic. I'm all for that. It just personally for me, they weren't my taste,
Hmm.
but neither were all of the English songs. I already said before about how I didn't really like the song at the beginning of the movie, but I think most of the English songs were really, really good. And I
Um,
really enjoyed them, and I think I will put them in my Spotify playlist at some point.
wait, was it just called Encanto? Um, Colombia, Me, Encanto. Um, if I had to say, that'd be my favorite Spanish song.
Hmm. I didn't really, think about them hard enough to pick a favorite Spanish song.
I mean, I definitely, and I do have it on iTunes, so I am biased, but I have definitely listened to that a lot of times. Also,
I don't know,
the instrumental version is also really good.
and it's not even the fact that they're Spanish, because like I enjoyed all the songs in Coco, even if they did use "Remember Me" like way too much.
And
Um,
remember me in the last part of the song. Last part of the movie was the best with
yeah,
Miguel
because it
singing
was
it.
how it was originally like written,
Yeah.
or in the context of the movie, how it was originally written. But yeah, do you have anything else you need to say, or should I, talk about the
Just
reception?
one last thing. Camilo best and deserved more of the spotlight. Okay, that's it.
Hmm. Okay, so these reviews are kind of weird, because
Like,
they're all over the place.
really weird.
Yeah. So IMDb gives this a 7.2 out of 10.
Okay.
Rotten Tomatoes has it at a 91. Metacritic has it at 75. And 84% of Google users liked the movie.
Wouldn't it be a little bit weird that I'm actually somewhat agreeing with Rotten Tomato?
So are you rating this movie 9.1?
8.9.
Yeah, I think I'm going to have to reflect on this movie more later.
Hmm.
Possibly watch it again to fully get how I feel about this movie. Um, so my opinion will likely change at some point in the future. But as it stands right now, I'm going to give this movie an 8.5.
Okay.
And yeah, look forward to Spider Man. I was like,
Scooter
what the
Man.
fuck was the movie that we got at the beginning of the podcast? It was Spider Man. Look forward to our Spider Man episode coming soon ish.
And yeah,
It may be next week. I don't know because I don't know when this episode's releasing and if there's a free movie of the month and a Marvel movie of the month and there's the TV show episodes that we do every month.
I think it's time to bring it home.
Yeah. So until next time, I've been Avery. That's been Lily, and I think we should go. I don't really have a good reason, but if I had a good reason, you would be like, yeah, that's a good reason, and you should go.